So you're coming to Old National Center at the Egyptian Room on November 7th, is that right?
Yes, I'm performing the 7th. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to performing in Indianapolis. I'm looking forward to performing election week. Obviously, there's a lot going on. It'll be a crazy week. Hopefully, it's a peaceful week, no matter what. And I feel like it'll be imperative to bring the laughs. It'll bring imperative to bring the laughs, the joy, the tears, and everything in between. So I'm looking forward to performing.
Yeah, that's kind of exciting and probably also a little bit nerve-wracking, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's a little nerve wracking, but I'm ready and I'm excited, and I know the crowds will be good. And I performed in Indianapolis once before, so I know you guys got a good sense of humor. So hopefully I could you know hopefully I could add to it.
Yeah, that's fun. Everybody, everybody should try to laugh. It's probably all we can do anymore. I mean, but you're not really afraid to say what you want to say, and that's kind of been your style. That's kind of got you, some backlash and things like that. But do you feel like that style is just kind of carried over into your comedy and just everything you do is just like this is who I am, and or do you feel like you kind of have to tailor your comedy to the places that you go?
No, I think that I think the most important thing is to be yourself, and I like to be myself. I'm definitely brash, but I think sometimes people expect me to be um with my comedy. And like I don't know, they sometimes people think it'll be more outrageous. Like I'm not really sexual or even derogatory with my comedy. My comedy is really, I think it's very humble, to be honest with you. I think it's very humble. I think it's emotional. I think it's but I mean, you're going to get what you expect. You're definitely going to get what you expect. But sometimes we're like, I thought you were going to be a little crazier. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, like swallowed swords and you know juggle fire. I don't do all that. I just like to talk my shit. I like to talk shit about myself. I like to talk shit about everybody else, and I like to engage with the crowd a lot. I like to feel and hear what the crowd has to say. So I really enjoy performing live.
Yeah. I think live performances are where you kind of, win or lose with your audience. Sometimes you find new people that are so impressed by it. And then other times, you lose people, but maybe for the right or wrong reasons, but who really cares because there's somebody else to replace.
Exactly.
Uh, but I do notice that a lot of your comedy is like, reflective of the, what's going on in the world. And I saw an interview that you did where you were saying that you were at the very first Diddy party. So I wondered if you were gonna talk about that in your show.
Definitely, definitely. I mean, I don't think there's a comedian working right now that doesn't have something about Diddy's baby oil parties, freak offs. It's too funny. It's too it's too outrageous and far out to not make some sort of jokes about. So yeah, I definitely talk about that. I talk about that experience. Although at the if you ask me, like it was just a what I was at was just a party. It was like a big lavish party when hip hop parties were starting to become these big lavish things. That's what it was, and that's what was memorable about it. I mean, it was you know, everybody. It was like any other big party, but it was because it was a hip hop person with hip hop people and sort of popular culture people meeting. That was what was unique about it, to be honest with you.
Okay, no, that's cool though. Do you have like any funny stories that? Well, I guess you wouldn't want to ruin them for your show, but do you have any that you can share without ruining them for your show?
Nah, I mean, like to be totally honest, I don't have anything. Like they were sort of there were nothing other than this celebrity, that celebrity. There was nothing unique about it.
Right.
It's cool, fun parties, but not anything. The ones I were at was nothing. Nothing. It was a very sort of PG-13, adult party.
So to the people that basically take any person that's ever been seen at one of these parties and throwing them out there like they're a part of this big thing. Do you feel like there's like some level of ridiculousness to that?
Total ridiculous. Total ridiculous. Obviously, the chips are going to fall, and more information is going to come out. But this was you could say what you want about him now, but obviously, this is an enormously successful person, and you see pictures of basically anybody and everybody at these parties, and like I said, they weren't any they weren't any different than any other Hollywood party or movie premiere or Grammy party or like what I was at. But fortunately, I like to go to sleep early, so I was never at the kooky parts.
Same, same. I'm like, it's like I'm going to bed. But you think about all the pictures that you've taken with celebrities. You like go to places and there's lines to meet them. They stand there and take pictures with all these people. That doesn't necessarily mean that you even know each other. So
100%.
kind of crazy, but yeah. I did catch your video where you were asking people where to eat while you were here, and I saw a few of the same reply that I always see. But what have you picked a place yet?
No, you got a suggestion of like, what, I'm only in Indianapolis for a short period of time. So I have, only have so many meals. But if you were like, what's one meal, what's one lunch, like the best place to get lunch? What would you say the best place to get lunch is?
Oh wow, there'd be like people that string me up, probably like you didn't say us. Um, Kuma's is really great.
Okay.
Um, a little bit different, is what everyone tries to say, but I mean, I've always thought it was pretty solid. But for me, I have a favorite that's kind of random, and you probably won't hear it from as many people. But there's a breakfast slash, I mean, you go to lunch too. But it's called Easy Rider Diner, and it's like attached to the Hi-Fi.
Okay.
Dude, that food is just like chef's.
Okay. All
Uh,
right. All right. Easy Rider Diner. I'm gonna
yeah,
check it out.
yeah. And if you're into chicken, Hot Boys chicken's really good too. But they're like a West Coast style chicken, so you could probably try them in other places. So
No, no, no. I want Easy Rider Diner. That feels like Indianapolis to me.
yeah, it's great. It's really good, and there's all kinds of different options for different things. But if you like drinking, I don't know if you do, but the Bloody Mary is on point.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. Good. All right, good.
All right. Let's see. So tell me how you got into comedy.
I got into comedy. It's the first thing that I did. I did it before I started acting when I was 19. I started as a stand-up, and I didn't have much success, and I didn't do it for very long. I did it for a couple of years, and then I started acting, which I fell deeply, deeply in love with. And then I started doing stand-up again about 5 years ago, and I fallen deeply, deeply in love with doing stand-up. I love doing it. I love the unpredictability of it. I love the freedom of it. And I love there's nothing like, live. There's just nothing, you can't compare it to anything. Performing in front of, people is it's just, a special privilege, when you're doing stand up.
Yeah. So that's your favorite of all of the different, because I was like, okay, because you have like radio, acting, directing, I mean, and stand up, and then the sports reporter, and then
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
No, I wouldn't say it's my favorite. It's just another thing that I get to do. It's just another thing that I'm fortunate that I get to do. It's hard to say one thing other than the other. Like to me, it's all performing, and you get the same sort of rush from it. It just, when you're on stage, it's like a longer rush as opposed to acting. In front of a camera, it's like a short rush, and it's a little bit more controlled. It's a lot more controlled as opposed to performing live.
do you feel like that's kind of like being your own director and your own actor at the same time?
So 100%. Yeah. Like there's no one to blame but yourself. If it goes good, you should take the credit. If it goes bad, you got to take the blame. And that's part of the fun of it. It's very sort of, um, you can't really, you can't really curate how any one show is going to go for the most part. I mean, there's always going to be something that's special about every show.
Yeah. Okay. No, that I was just thinking how that would be like probably the most control that you have over that. But then you also
Yeah.
podcast as well that you do, right? Or
Podcast is very freewheeling also.
yeah,
But there's no one listening to you live unless you do a live. But you're in the comfort of your own home, so or your studio. So it's you get to start, stop, and burp and snort and cough and redo if you want to, if need be. So it's this live is live.
yeah. I think because I've had a few friends that do podcasts, they're like, "Why don't you just go live?" And I was like, "No, that's too much pressure for me."
Yeah, yeah. You want it to appear live.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But not actually be. But your parents were in radio. Is that kind of what got you interested in podcasting? Or well, you had one that was a radio personality and the other one like worked in radio, correct?
Yeah, well, one no, no, that Wikipedia thing. I'm trying to get that changed so bad.
Because
No,
I
my
like
no,
that.
nobody was in radio. My father was the manager of a radio station. And he and so, as a kid, like that really influenced a lot of music because he'd bring home all sorts of different records and stuff like that. So that influenced me. Obviously I'm not a musician, but it gave me a lot of um sort of different lens to different kinds of musics at a very young age that I was exposed to, which, I mean, I still embrace to this day. I mean, it's such a part of my life. Music is a part of everybody's life, even, whether you realize it or not, whether you're hearing it in a radio, driving by in a car, or you're tapping your fingers to the elevator music, or it's just so much a part of our life. And I think we take it for granted how much music is a part of everybody's life, and I'm not even a musician.
Yeah. No, I love that you said that because I'm actually my title now is the assistant music editor, but I started just like shooting for my friend's band and doing photography and like
Nice.
music is what pushes I feel like so many creative people to maybe to their spot, whatever that may be, acting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you did a documentary about a tribe called Quest, didn't you?
Yup. Yup.
So yeah.
Uh, great documentary. Very proud of that. Beats, Rhymes, and Life, Travels of a Tribe Called Quest, who just got inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It was challenging, but it was very fulfilling. And ultimately, I think is um, just a privilege to make the film and to document a little part of what they mean to me and what they mean to fans to this day. So that was a really exciting thing to do, and I'm glad we got it done. It wasn't easy, but we got it done.
Nice. And you worked pretty closely with them on that?
Yes, very closely, and then it's good, and the movie's available wherever. I think it's on Apple TV. Beach Rhymes of Life, and it's something I'm very proud of.
Nice. I'll have to check that out. Um, so
Sorry.
that's okay. Do you have like a favorite person? You've worked with a lot of different people. Do you have like a favorite person that you've worked with ever or collaborated with or
Obviously, making the Tribe movie was great. I mean, I've worked with so many actors and directors that I've, grew up, really idolizing. Robert De Niro and Sylvester Stallone, and of course, I got to, work, with Spike Lee and Tony Scott, the director of True Romance, and it's I came into this as a fan, so I always appreciate and try never to take those opportunities for granted.
yeah, for sure. I think it's important too to like draw that line if you're going to do something creative that is for, a band or for, any kind of cause or anything. You got to draw the line between like trying to go groupie and really like respecting, what it is and not just seeing it through like the starry-eyed version, that
A
you
100%, 100%.
were there certain things that were hard about that for you when you were directing the documentary?
For the Tribe documentary, yeah, there were because I'm such a fan, but I was also trying to, be honest and also respect them and protect them. And, I wasn't trying to be exploitive, but also trying to show the dynamic within the group in a very relatable human way. So it was very challenging. It was very challenging. but ultimately, like I said, I think I'm proud of the film, and I know that the guys are proud of the film, and obviously with the passing of Fife, it's a historical document, just a little piece of their thing. You can never get the whole story and every single tidbit in a 90-minute film, but I think we got the gist of it in that film. So, but it was hard. It was hard, and because you want to be respectful, but also, you know, essentially, if you're a documentary filmmaker, you become a journalist in a way. So you want to tell the full story.
I can respect that. Yeah, I write and with all of the different things that I've taken from different bands that I've shot, especially smaller ones. I think about stuff like that. Like you would want to make sure that you didn't put like the most unflattering pictures and all the random things, like because one day they if they do get big, you don't want that stuff to be out there on your behalf, kind of.
Exactly.
um, do so there's a lot of stuff that people know, and we'll say that with quotes about you, and obviously some of it that's wrong. Wikipedia, fuck Wikipedia. um, what's something that you feel like people don't know about you that you would kind of like for them to know?
Well, I mean, I think I share a lot of myself, especially on social media. I mean, I think the one thing that could be misconstrued about me and the way I present myself, especially on social media, is that I am a full-fledged, you know, hopefully on my way to being a well-rounded, human being. It's not all screaming, yelling, laughing, and beeps. I'm a regular, caring, respectful, trying to do the best I can to just be a good person.
Yeah, and being funny just comes naturally with
Definitely, yeah, that definitely. That's important. But in terms of more the softer side, there's a softer side that I don't show on social media as much.
you. Oh, some of that's probably a little bit of being a dad, maybe.
It's all of it. It's all of it. Dad, husband, I'm just, but like like a social media to me is like performance art, and I tend to lean into that. So sometimes people think they know you, but they don't. So it's all good though. I love it.
That's fair because I do feel like almost everything in the industry now is based out of how many times you're going to get a click, whether or not your reel is trending, and it's such a different you know it's such a different makeup of all the things that you have to do to kind of work in the industry. And looking at all those changes, something that I always actually like to ask is, what do you see for the future of like comedy and really, I mean, entertainment, because you kind of are across the board there with AI, or just, in general, the way that social media works. What do you see for the future of it?
Hmm. I mean, I think there's so many different opportunities and platforms. I think for people trying to get breaks, I think all the opportunities are more than ever before. I think the fact that you could do things quick, there's a blessing and a curse to that. I think that you still have to take your time, and I feel like you have to it takes time to put your blood and sweat into something, and I think that with things being so quickly um, churned around, you can miss out on that. But I think for the most part, I think it's a good thing. I just hope that the quality across the board of all art doesn't get too watered down.
Yeah, I can appreciate that because I think the biggest thing that I hear a lot of people say, and maybe not so much the younger generation, but a lot of the older people, are very concerned that things are going to be less human. And you can even
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true. Yeah, AI shit is crazy.
it is like I had written a song, just the lyrics, and my musician friends were busy, and I have plenty of them. But I just kind of wanted to hear what it would sound like, and I thought it would be funny to make it sound like Devo. And so I put it in, the AI, and told it to in it, and Devo sang my song, and it was,
Yeah, that's fucking nuts.
but
That's fucking crazy. That shit's crazy. That
yeah,
shit is crazy.
It is. It's wild. I was just like, oh, well, that's Devo, but those are my lyrics. But that's definitely their voice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think there's like a Beyonce one that's trending right now where she's like rapping or something. I kind of read about, but I didn't really get to see.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, that is crazy. Something that, well, and as a dad, because I was going to ask you this too, when somebody or if somebody were to say like they want to grow up to do what you do, what advice would you give to them?
I would say in regards to being in show business, actor, I think any artistic, you know, realm, but particularly being an actor, I can speak to that best. You know, talent is of the utmost importance, but the tenacity and the consistency and the belief in yourself is even more important. Um, you know, you need the skills and the talent and all the things, but the belief in yourself is almost it's just as important, if not more important.
Yeah. I think that's like if you believe in, energies and like I think people when they don't believe in themselves tend to exude like a needy energy and people, push away from that. But when you radiate that positive like energy that people want to be around, I think that does kind of maybe help put you into better positions in life. That's
I
awesome.
agree. I agree.
Thank you. I really appreciate you, taking the time to talk to me.
Good. I appreciate you taking the time, and the questions were great. And you know, I'm looking forward to performing next week on the 7th.
Awesome. We're excited to see you at the Old National Center in the Egyptian room.
Thank
That's
you, Amanda. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye.